You guys. I did not know you guys were here, but hey, welcome. Y'all come on in. I just wanted to come to you guys quickly. Um, Let me make sure my mic is up because sometimes I hop on here and the mic is not miking, and I need to make sure that you guys can hear me, not just see me, but can hear me and get all of the goodness that I have for you. So let's pop that in. Okay, so look, y'all, I want to talk to y'all about something, and it's called duplicating yourself for success. And I'm gonna give you guys three strategies that will allow you to be successful in business and to grow your business, you guys. I'm sitting in the car and I'm waiting for someone. And so I'm going to take this time to share something with you that I had to learn. Now, how did I have to learn this? How did I learn this? Why did I learn this? And when did I learn this? I'm going to tell y'all a quick story and then I'm going to come back with my 3 points on duplicating yourself for success. In um, October 2016, Halloween day, evening, night, one of the worst things that could ever happen to a person happened to me. And it came out of nowhere. It was unexpected. There was no explanation. It just happened. And it literally changed the trajectory of my life. And that thing that happened was I suffered a massive stroke at the age of 36. I'm going to let that sit for a moment. Okay, so yes, I suffered a massive stroke at the age of 36. It was only the grace of God that I was in the hospital when I had the stroke, because if I had not been in the hospital, then I would not have survived, according to all doctors, nurses, medical practitioners, everybody there. So I'm gonna give you guys quickly what happened prior to me having the stroke and what happened after I had the stroke that brought me to this point today of duplicating yourself for success. So I will say about from December 2015 until the summertime, um, I had been experiencing these headaches daily, headaches, massive headaches, all in the back of my head, all the way down my neck. On the side of my neck, I had been having these headaches, and they were just literally stopping me in my tracks. Like I could not function. It grew to the point where I could not function. I could not think. I could not work, but I was surviving. And I began to take a medicine called Excedrin every single day, right? Excedrin, if you know anything about it, you can take one pill a day. I was taking advantage of that one pill a day. Every day I was taking Excedrin. And I was in the summertime of 2016, I was involved in participating in a business plan writing competition that was highly stressful, highly competitive. But I knew I was not going to give up because I wanted to win that competition. I needed the money, I needed the prizes. And so I put my all into it and I said, I'm going to deal with the headaches after I finished the competition. So I endured these headaches that had been happening every day throughout the day. We came from May when I got into the competition all the way to August. Um, Still constant headaches. And I said, I'm just going to deal with it whenever. Hi, Natalia. Thanks for jumping in. Hi, is it Hafizur? Thanks for coming in. I hope I got your name right. So yeah, I said I'm gonna deal with this whenever time permits, right? I don't have time right now because I'm trying to win this competition. I was running a home daycare at the time, and I had been a daycare provider for 9 years. On top of having daycare children in my home from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., I also had my own children after 6 p.m. So I was just around the clock with children. Well, fast forward to September, I decided, okay, the headaches aren't stopping. Let me start going to the hospital and try to figure out what's going on. I went to the hospital, they could not figure it out. In September, in August, in September, I went probably about 7 or 8 times to the ER. They couldn't figure it out. There was nothing wrong. They had no diagnoses for me. Early October, they started giving me these bogus diagnoses. Oh, you have a UTI, urinary tract infection. Oh, they thought I had meningitis. Didn't have meningitis. They did a spinal tap. They found nothing. They ran all kinds of tests. They found nothing. But there was one test they did not do, and that was an MRI. Okay. October 31st, I'm having the worst headache of my life. And I tell my sister, hey, I need you to take me to the ER. I can't deal. Something is wrong in my head. I don't know what's happening, but something is wrong. That was in the morning. She took my kids to school. Fast forward, after school, she came to bring them home, and I was still stretched out on the couch. I had not moved the entire day. And she took me to the hospital and she said, call me when you're done. I said, okay. She wheeled me into the hospital and sent me on my way to get care. And that's where she left me. And I woke up almost 2 weeks later. While I was in the hospital, I suffered a massive stroke. And when I came to, the doctors were all standing around my bedside. Nurses were there. My sister was there, family. They had told her to call all the family in and prepare for the worst. But I made it because God is a miracle worker. Um, and they told me you had a stroke. Right before that stroke, see, this conversation is not about the stroke, but I had to tell you about the stroke in order to get to why you need to duplicate yourself. Right before that stroke, I had just signed a contract with a company um, for $60,000. And that $60,000 I had already planned that was going to carry me through 2017. I could live off of $60,000. I could be okay. And then I can continue to work and generate more income in my business. Right before I had the massive stroke, I signed the contract. And I did not tell my company that I contracted with that I had a stroke. I couldn't tell them. When I finally was able to communicate at level, probably around December or so, I decided, okay, I need to let them know that I cannot fulfill the contract. I'm going to release them from their obligation because I had no one who could provide the consulting services that they had contracted with me for. And at that moment, I realized you cannot do everything alone. You can't do everything by yourself. You shouldn't try to do everything by yourself. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, if you're going to be successful as a business owner, you have to learn to duplicate yourself. And so I have 3 points for you guys. The first one is when you are bringing people on board into your company, into your vision, into your business. You want to make sure that you systematize and don't just supervise. Why do I say that? Success does not come from doing everything yourself, you guys. It just simply doesn't. It comes from having the right systems in place, It comes from being able to delegate tasks to other people. It comes from being able to find capable teammates, capable partners that can allow you to free yourself so you can do what it is that you do. And that's be the visionary. That is for you to execute on every download that you have. You bring the vision and then you bring the team to carry out the vision, right? So you want to free yourself so you can focus on growth, so you can focus on the vision, and so you can focus on higher level strategy, higher level opportunities. You don't want to be stuck in your business working a job where you have just left the job possibly and created another job for you, for yourself. You want to be working on your business. Delegation is not you losing control, it's you multiplying your impact. So make sure that make sure that you know, in order for you to be successful as an entrepreneur or a business owner, you have to learn to duplicate yourself and delegate, and systemize, not just supervise. The other thing that I want to talk to you guys is the second thing. Okay, when you have let's back up. Let's back up. I said systemize, not supervise, but then I gave you guys all of the tips and strategies for delegating. So we're going to use delegate as number one. You're going to duplicate yourself by delegating in order to be able to elevate. Now, how do you delegate to elevate? You have to know that your true value is not just in the strategy, it's in the execution and the strategy. Your true value is in the execution and the strategy that you set forth, right? So you want to make sure that you're finding capable teammates, capable partners, people that allow you to free yourself so you can grow. You guys, I just said it. Free yourself so you can grow and you can focus on the growth of the company, focus on the vision that you have, and focus on higher level opportunities. So delegate to elevate. Now let's go back to systemize, don't supervise. Success does not come from you doing everything yourself. It comes from you putting the right what? Strategies in place, the right systems in place, from building a repeatable system. If you know that you wake up, hop out of bed, brush your teeth, wash your face, check your email, respond to emails, check your bank account. You want to do that every single day the same way, and that is your system. That's how you develop standard operating procedures, right? So, how do you manage your business? You want to be able to make sure that you have a system in place for how you manage and operate your business, and it's done wash, rinse, repeat every single time, the exact same time. Nothing changes. We can look at McDonald's. I'm sitting next to a McDonald's and a Chick-fil-A. They make burgers the same way every time. They literally make burgers every time the exact same way. Chick-fil-A has mastered this. They do things the exact same way every time, and that's why they are so successful and they get such a high ranking when it comes to customer service and quality, because they don't go in the morning or in the afternoon and change up the process every time they're doing it. They use the same process. The same should be with your business, your company, and how you do things. You want to create you a documented process. If you have to create a checklist, create a checklist. If you need to create a template, create a template. And that way, if something happens to who? You, to me, this is something I didn't have in place when I had my strokes. But if something happens to you or to me, somebody else can literally just step in and produce consistent results without having you there and without having to have you there every single time. This is important for us as parents. Um, One of the things that I did after I had my strokes was sit my kids down and explain to them how business operated. I started including them in the business so they could know this is what needs to be done. Should something ever happen to mom, then my oldest daughter knows how to jump in and immediately begin to take the reins and do it. Now I'm in the construction industry. My son, he is a general contractor. He literally can take over any project that I'm doing if anything were to happen to me. I also have an intern. I'm training my intern right now. Why? Because if something were to happen to me, the project must go on and my family must still be able to benefit from the work that I have already started. So I'm telling you guys, if you want to be successful in business, that's two tips that I've given you. Systemize, don't just supervise, and delegate to elevate. The last one I want to tell you guys about is developing leaders and not followers. Now, I know that a lot of people feel like there's only one leader. They only want to be one leader. They only want to have one leader in their company. But what I'm telling you is, contrary to popular belief, if you want to be successful, you have to develop your people and turn them into leaders and not just followers. Why is that? Because you're trying to duplicate yourself. You want to invest in other people by duplicating yourself. You want to train people. You want to mentor other people to think, to decide, and to lead the same way that you would. You want many yous ready, capable, and able to step into place should they have to, right? Because it's your vision, it's your company, it's your name on the line. Listen, there are so many small business owners that start something amazing and then something happens to them and it just is gone in the wind. It disappears, never to be heard of again. What I'm creating and what I'm developing, I want my kids first to be able to come in and take over should anything ever happen to me. Let's just say I want to go on vacation. I need my kids to be in a position of leadership so they can step in and operate the business the same way that I would do it. They came out with this little cliche years ago called "What Would Jesus Do?" Right? WWJD. When it comes to business, I want my kids to say, "What would mom do?" Okay, I want them to think that. What would mom do? If it's other people that I have brought into the business and I have trained them to be leaders, I want them to say, what would Tanya do in this scenario, in this situation? How would she handle this? Why? Because I am training them to duplicate myself so they could know how I think, how I function, what the plan is going forward, how to move on to the next task without any issue, without it looking like there was a disruption in the business, right? So, you guys, you want to make sure that you are training your people. When you grow leaders who carry the same values, the same standards that you carry, your influence and your success expands far beyond your own capacity. And that is the true ultimate goal. Okay. So I want to give you guys this one simple takeaway line, and I want you to remember this. You remain successful not by working harder, but by duplicating yourself through systems, through delegation, and through leadership development. You remain successful not by working harder, but through duplicating yourself through systems, through delegation, and through leadership development. That's what I have for you guys today. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to Power and Presence Now. I am Tanya. I can't wait to have you guys back. And I can't wait because guess what? I'm going to start bringing some guests on here with us, and we're going to have real live business and faith conversations so you guys can experience not just me and my success, but you can experience other business owners in a variety of different industries and find out how they began, what they're doing now, or how they made it to where they are. Thank y'all for tuning in. Again, I'm Tanya from Power and Presence Now. I'll see you guys later. Bye.